Are you a human being? Are you also a Browns fan? Well, if you said yes to both of those things, then there's a good chance you're probably a little tired of our local Cleveland Brown sports media. Same old thing, day after day, night after night. It's time to hang the cleats up. It's time to pass the torch. If you're looking for something fun, something fresh, something where four people literally smack themselves in the face over and over with hot take after hot take, then my boys at Down with the Browns is where you want to be. It's just good for your soul. Available on Apple Podcast, YouTube, and Twitter. Getting down with the Browns.
And welcome back to another episode of Down with the Browns, baby. We are back.
Let's go, baby! Holla at your boy!
And on this break, we took some time to assess our mental healths because we already know that our mental health is only on the rise from here on out. Because the journey to February begins on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
Journey
like
February.
technically, championships are built in the off season, but
Hey.
yes.
Hey, it's already built.
That's
We're
true.
just
Well,
stating-
according to Sean Payton, you don't want to build your championship team in the offseason. You don't want to spend too much money because then you're not really caring about the real thing. You know
Oh,
what I
get
mean?
him.
So Sean Payton, new head coach of the Denver Broncos, taking shots at Robert Saleh and the New York Jets. But we're going to talk about the Jets. We're going to talk.
Well, I mean, he had to say something, and he had to take the heat off of him, considering the fact that he got, caught, ripping some bombs.
Was that actually him? Was that actually him?
Yeah, that was Sean Payton getting high in the Mile High
crazy.
City.
Whoa,
dude.
whoa, what? He was ripping doobies?
Yeah. No, he was ripping.
No.
He was ripping. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's ripping out of the bong with that one kid. They
Larry
put it on
Tunsil.
Barstool Sports. They didn't know if it was actually him though.
I mean, if that's not him, then that's his doppelganger or
Yeah, that's
his,
a guy who looks exactly like
identical twin brother.
He can get through the Face ID password on Sean Payton's iPhone if that's actually not Sean Payton. That's for sure.
Well-
Because that looked exactly like him.
Yeah, and speaking of Sean Payton and Down with the Browns, I don't know if you noticed this, but we've got some new logos.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And you can see
Send
right
'em.
above me. You can see right above me. That's one of them. And you look down in the corners. There's the other two. And they were
I didn't
created.
notice that.
Yeah.
Can
created
you pull
by our
up,
very
can you
own.
pull up the picture of the main one?
Yeah. Give me one
Yeah,
second.
yeah. Created by our very own Zach Creates.
Yeah, dude. He went hard, bro.
He did go
slam
hard.
dunk.
He was in the trenches.
No, it looks gorgeous. The whole season 2 of Down with the Browns. I mean, this looks amazing.
Let me tell you, buddy, this is going to be the best season we've ever had.
Yeah,
no matter what.
especially when the Browns are doing really well. I'm telling you, this is. Oh, I can feel it, man.
Well,
I
I'm
can.
trying
And
to
I know
get it.
people like calm down. It's preseason. You know what I mean? I can feel it. Everything around this team. It's
You can
just.
feel it.
Can you feel? I can taste it. I can
you
taste
taste it?
It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be so crazy.
All right, let me just make it my virtual background, and I'll do it that way.
Yeah. Absolutely. Make that thing your virtual background.
Yeah, but dude, yeah, Zach went very hard on these logos, and we really do appreciate him for all his hard work, putting in that time for
Putting in
Down
that
with the
work.
Browns,
Putting in that work, putting in that time. It's lit.
slaving
It's
over
lit
a
to
hot
see.
stove,
It's really lit to see.
cooking it up. I would say
Hold on 1 second. While you're getting that background up, do you hear that?
do you?
Already,
Well, hold on. The background needs to come up because we need to show people.
Is it up yet?
It is
Yeah.
up. That
It
actually
is
looks
up.
fire.
And that is DWTB. Down with
Actually,
The Browns,
Love it.
baby.
the Browns.
The Browns.
That looks so cool, bro. That looks so cool. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie
Zach
to you.
went hard on it, bro. Tell you that.
Absolutely.
That
Absolutely.
looks sick. That looks sick, man. Bro, new logo, new us, man. I'm
Look at
telling
us
you.
thriving. Look at us. Look at us. But
Who
yeah,
would've thought? Not
do you
me.
guys hear that?
I think I do.
It's
What is that?
it's a stampede. I don't think we can even stop it. It's what the Buffalo Herd.
You know you're a writer when you don't send drunk texts, but full-fledged novels. This is Mac with the Buffalo Herd. Get excited, Browns fans, as we finally get to see the brown and orange play some football this week. The preseason kicks off this Thursday as the Browns play the Jets at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. It'll be great to see former Browns left tackle Joe Thomas enshrined. Hopefully, the Jets won't embarrass the Browns like they did last year during Joe Thomas's Ring of Honor enshrinement in Week 2. The last day the Browns were practicing at Greenbrier, a fight broke out between offensive tackle James Hudson and defensive end Ogbo Okoronkwo. Coach Stefanski proceeded to make the whole team run as everyone but one person was involved in the skirmish. It was reported that offensive tackle Jed Wills was the only one not involved, as he was doing what he normally does, standing around watching everything happen. Lastly, we are proud to announce here at Down with the Browns, we have a new logo. Zach did a great job giving our brand a solid facelift, which isn't a surprise as he's extremely skilled at graphic design. I asked him what his inspiration for the sleek and simplistic logo, to which he replied, I want to design a new logo that Christian would be able to spell out on a shirt. This is Mac with What the Buffalo Herd.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's actually great.
To the dungeon.
You gotta boot him.
Get out of here.
Get him out of here.
Oh, that's cruel, man.
Yeah. I was immediately like, hey, all right. Yeah, even the dog like that. Joke.
Oh.
Hi, buddy.
Introduce us to your new dog, bro, really quickly
Yeah,
before we get
part
into this
of,
training camp stuff.
Part of one of the things that I did while we were on our break here is I adopted a new dog, Meet Buff. I did not plan his name to be this, but the shelter had called him Buffett, and I was like, okay, well, that's a ridiculous name. Jimmy's a decent artist, whatever. He jumped on me once, and I said, "Easy there, Buff," and I told myself, I was like, this is meant to be.
Bro,
but
that's actually pretty lit.
yeah,
I love the name.
As cute as you are, I have
Josh,
some business to
dude.
attend. So,
Bro, shout out to the boys and them, the man and them. Drew MC back in here. What's going on?
What's
He was playing
good?
some Madden 2003.
And if you guys
Drew's
have
been
any,
hello, Buff.
if you guys have any questions, feel free to just drop them in them comments.
Absolutely.
We're always here to
Absolutely.
answer.
Listen, training camp's always a fun time because you're getting out of that kind of like postseason lulls a little bit, and you're starting to see your favorite players out there on the field. But again, it's what is it, laundry? What do they say? They're out there playing in laundry and shorts and stuff like that. So it's like, what can you really get from it? So do you feed into it? Do you not feed into it? We don't know. But I kind of want to start off season 2 with a nice little question, a little softball question. Who's out there right now on the team that's really impressed you? Today was, I think, day 9 of the training camp. So, who's out there that just impressed you during training camp? Is there a guy that really caught your eye? An under the radar player, or is it one of the stars on this team that you're really excited about? Let's just talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's put it on the table. Comments in the comment section too. I want to see what you guys are thinking and hear. Just kind of pull the room. Matt, go ahead. You can go first.
okay, perfect. So the first, one of the first players that stood out to me was Elijah Moore, and it was easy. Whether he's lined up in the slot, in the backfield, out wide, Kevin has put him in several different positions at least from what I've seen so far. It's going to be interesting to see how he gets the ball, and his route running and hands were on full display. I mean, how many receivers in the NFL can say that they put Denzel Ward in a blender?
Yeah.
And with all due respect
Yeah.
to Denzel Ward, because he is one of the best man-to-man corners in this league. You would say probably top 10 at least. And Elijah Moore, with his quick feet, is still somehow able to get open, which the Browns wide receivers have struggled with that the past 2 years in terms of separation for everyone outside of Amari Cooper. Donovan Peoples-Jones had a great season last year, but he was still among one of the league's lowest in terms of separation. So it was great to see that. And hot take right here, Elijah Moore will lead the team in touches, not targets, touches.
Like
Because I'm
receptions?
talking about receptions plus rushes. Because I'm saying it just seems that Kevin wants to get this guy the ball in space, and I don't blame him. They have an exact plan. Now, usually when a team trades for a player, they have some kind of knowledge of him prior, to these talks even happening. And the Browns, they did a lot of scouting on Elijah Moore in college, and they wanted him. He was gone before they had the opportunity to take him, but now they have him, and it looks like they have a huge plan for him, and I'm excited to see what he does in this role.
Absolutely. Christian, go ahead, and then we're going to go to our boy Jake.
Yeah, I mean, who I think stood out the most at training camp.
All right, Brandon.
What'd he say?
I guess it's next fault that you're late. Okay, yeah, all right.
It was.
Brandon.
Yeah, that's true.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But the guy that stood out the most to me has been none other than Nicholas Jamal Chubb. Because it's not even his rushing. I've been seeing him back there catching some balls. And he's got some hands on him.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is, if you make the best rusher in the game, even just halfway decent in the receiving game, I think he pushes for 20 touchdowns this year total.
20 touchdowns total?
Buff like that. Oh, yeah, for sure. I'd say 7 receiving, 13 on the ground.
I mean, depends on how many looks he gets in the red zone. I think that's where his touchdowns are going to come from, to be completely honest with you.
I think he's going to get a few 20, 30-yarder off the screens.
I don't know if he's going to get
that. Go back to the Pittsburgh playoff game. What sealed the deal?
He might, but I think this offense is going to change a little bit, though. I think it's going to be more of a spread offense, kind of like Deshaun in Houston.
Yeah, but when you start going downfield, you gotta get the short stuff going. So nothing gets
true.
I mean, you get a little screen pass going.
True.
You're gonna burn them.
I mean,
you're gonna burn them.
Is Nick Chubb fast
it's gonna
be
be like Zaxby's chicken. It's gonna be burnt.
I'm sorry. Hold on.
Okay.
What was the question that you just asked me?
Is Nick Chubb fast like that? Like, is he fast?
Is he fast?
Like can he catch
fast?
it in the flat? Like, is he
Listen,
or are we just getting a little bit too Browns fans?
Nah,
you know what I mean? Like,
no,
is
bro,
he
bro,
like
no? You go around the league. You look who was rated the number 1 running back in the league.
Yeah, because he's a bowling ball. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, go watch the Chargers game.
Earl Thomas thinks that Nick Chubb's very fast. Every single Falcons defender from 2018 thinks that Nick Chubb is pretty fast. I mean, Nick Chubb has the longest rush in franchise history at 92 yards.
That is true. That is true. That is true. That is true. Okay.
Not saying that just because I'm one of the biggest Nick Chubb enthusiasts on this app.
Are.
Okay.
Yes, you are.
I'm just stating it because it's facts.
But again, I'm not. Like,
it's like asking, does KFC serve chicken? It's like asking
it's not that easy. Right?
Yes,
it's not
that's
that
like asking
easy.
if the Lord is good, man.
It's like, is the ice
answer
cream
is
machine
yes.
working at McDonald's easy? Like you never know.
No,
sometimes it is,
no,
sometimes it's
that's
not.
like
I mean,
that's
it's
like-
a little bit. It's a little
That's
bit
like
harder.
asking if DeJuan Jones can run a 4.4 flat.
All right. You know what, Jake? Enough of the shenanigans here. Okay, Jake, who's the player that really stood out to you in training camp? So far.
I'm not going to go with a specific player. I'm going to go with a specific unit, and that is the linebackers. The linebackers have improved so much from last year already, just in training camp and OTAs alone. Anthony Walker's, of course, being the leader of that whole thing. Taki is not even supposed to be playing right now, and he's still out there working hard. He wants to be a member of this team. He's playing hard, working hard. JOK, of course, he changed the jersey number to 6. I don't know if you guys want to get into that.
What are your thoughts on that, real quick? What are your thoughts on that?
Yo,
Ride with
ride with
six,
six,
baby.
ride with six, baby.
Oh,
Yeah,
Hop
dude.
on the truck, baby. We're going down
Bro,
the
I got it up
road.
on my wall. Like, what are you talking about, bro? I've always rode with Jeremiah Kwusu-Koromoa, man. Ride with six all day.
I already knew the number was going to change. That's why he kept it up there.
I mean, you got to.
I think we all knew he was changing it to 6 after Baker was gone. We all knew it was happening.
Yeah.
But somebody has to like Jay, what's up, Jay? Jay Will in the Twitter comments with the fire emojis. Somebody had to change their number to 6. And I just was curious if it was going to be like a newcomer that had like no ties to him, to Baker at all. You know what I mean? Or was it going to be like, a player on the team who was still here? Like, I was just curious who was going to, somebody had to get 6. It wasn't going to be retired. So I just didn't know what they were going to do about it. You know what I mean? So, or what,
Dale wore 6 at Notre Dame, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, he did wear. Yes. Just full disclaimer. Yeah, JOK did wear number 6 at Notre Dame. So there is that, which I think helps out a lot. So
Bigger news like number change. Greg Newsome wearing 0
yes, Greg Newsome.
Wow,
Greg Newsome
First
is wearing
player
0, by the way.
in Brown's history to wear that.
To wear number 0. I thought it was going to be Elijah Moore when he came over. I don't know why. I don't think it was the edits or something. I just thought he was going to wear number 0. Brownie the Elf on Twitter says Nick Chubb has a gear, and then he has a gear. Nick Chubb has breakaway speed, which I will agree, because that's a little bit different, because you need a certain kind of stamina to maintain a certain miles per hour, and then to just really turn on the jets. That's what I think Nick Chubb has. I don't think he's inherently a fast guy. You know what I mean? I don't think he's just a faster guy. I think
he thinks that because he's not skinny, because he's built.
I mean,
Yeah.
Because he's 100% muscle, no fat.
maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Look, my person for training camp that I've liked a lot, Elijah Moore. Speaking of Elijah Moore, I like my wide receivers. Season 2 of Down with the Browns has not changed that. I still love wide receivers, and I still want a DeAndre Hopkins here. I don't care. Sue me, whatever. He's in Tennessee. I don't care. Whatever. I don't know why he even took that deal in the first place. But Elijah Moore,
know why he took that deal, because he wanted some money.
It's all about the money. Yeah, money. Well, listen, it's about the money, okay? Cream. Cash rules everything around me. So I think that Elijah Moore being on this offense has, I don't know, I just feel like it's opened up a new part of him, right? I mean, we've seen Zach Wilson. Drew said he scored 46 Baker Mayfield jersey at Marshalls for $20.
Please post it when you do, Drew. I want to see
please
that.
please do that.
wanna see
Please do that. We
please.
all want to see that.
He's going to be in the Muni selling them.
Exactly. But Elijah Moore, he just turned over a new leaf, so to speak. And a lot of Jets fans just don't really like him and downplayed him leaving and downplayed his exit in New York. But we all know what the deal is, right? I mean, it was Zach Wilson in New York. There's a reason why there's hard knocks for the Jets, and everybody's so excited for Aaron Rodgers. It's because Zach Wilson wasn't very good. So if we all know that Zach Wilson wasn't very good, why are we indicting Elijah Moore for his performance over there? You know what I mean? I just feel like that's weird. That's something you can't do, and it speaks a little close to home because we saw Odell differently in Cleveland versus LA. We just did. I mean, we just did. Those are the facts. So, I mean, speaking from that kind of lens, I understand a change of quarterback, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent or whatever, can change the way you perform in an offense. And I think Elijah Moore is going to explode. Do I think he's going to get the most touches on the team? Like Mac is saying, I don't know. There were some plays you're alluding to, Mac, where he had him in a jet sweep. And he was, he looked electric. He looked explosive. But again, I don't know if he's going to get the most touches on the team, because I think it's going to be extremely balanced. That's what I expect. I think it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of, four wide guys, kind of 5 wide sets. And you're just going to get everybody involved, to be honest with you. That's what I think. But yeah. With that being said,
So okay, has everybody answered their question? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Everybody got it. Everybody
Okay,
got it.
all right. Just spur of the moment, random question, but it's a good one. It's a great way to start season 2. Okay.
Oh God.
For $1 million, would you rather have to tackle Nick Chubb with about 15 just yards, just let him take off. You got to catch him at 15 to 20 yards, or get sacked by Myles Garrett at a full head of steam.
Oh, I'd rather get my clock cleaned by Myles Garrett. I'm not even attempting to tackle Nick Chubb in the backfield. Are you kidding
No,
me?
I mean full pads, dudes just.
Oh yeah,
it.
no,
full on,
he can pick me up and suplex me. I'm not getting embarrassed. Like Myles Garrett sacks me, and probably I probably have to pop my shoulder back in. I have a concussion. I wake up in a hospital. That's fine. But I try to tackle Nick Chubb, and he's juking me out of both of my ACLs. I'm talking about to where I fold, my knees fold sideways like it's a lawn chair. And then you're just laying there embarrassed because, it's one thing, what's more embarrassing, getting juked, completely out of your cartilage or getting sacked? It's one thing because at least when you get sacked, you get pulverized. Everybody goes, oh, and then they clap for you when you're limping off the field and you get carried off in the stretcher. Everybody's clapping, but you get juked out of your ACLs. I'm probably laying there not being able to walk, and people are laughing at me, and I become a Twitter meme.
Let me tell you this.
Not letting that happen.
For the $1 million, dude, I'm taking the Myles Garrett sack all day.
Yeah, wait. Yeah. So say that.
Wait,
one
no.
more time,
Okay,
Myles Garrett sack, and then having to
a
tackle
Myles
Nick
Garrett.
Chubb.
Let me read. You got to avoid a Myles Garrett sack.
Avoid a Myles Garrett sack, or
for how many
have
seconds?
You just have to avoid it. You can't just dunk the ball. Jed Wills is you got
he usually is, and just opens up like a turnstile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. I might be pretty safe given the NFL rules. You know what I mean? I mean, he can't throw me down. He can't lay his body on me.
No, bro.
No.
No.
So he just has to
on the side of the road, not on the road.
Oh, no rules?
No rules, bro. You just got to
If you
For
think
$1
you
million?
can outrun Myles Garrett, you're out of your mind.
No, yeah, I think it's all about just
It's one of the
taking
fastest
that
defensive
hit.
ends in the NFL.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts,
just
Jake?
taking that hit. $1 million will cover my hospital bills, and I'll still have money to spare. I'm gonna go with $1 million. I'm gonna go with
the money.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Myles Garrett for $1 million. Definitely.
Myles Garrett is the type of guy that would have at least a little bit of sympathy, knowing that we're all Browns fans, and he would be like, "Oh, I wouldn't kill you. I'll just kind of pick you up like a teddy bear and lay you gently on the ground, something." I don't think. I mean, that's what I think about it. I mean, and I'm with Mac. I'm not getting embarrassed by Nick Chubb. Definitely not. So that's all I can say about that.
And so. Another question popped up for me too.
This is a good poll question.
It's a very good poll question. It's an extremely good poll question. It's an extremely good poll question. I kind of wanted to talk about slightly what exactly, if there's anything, what feels different to you? This is a two-part question. What feels different to you about training camp this year? And also, we'll go with the training camp first, but my follow-up question is, what feels different about this team? If you had to convince someone who is really pessimistic about the Browns, a Browns fan, or somebody who says, "Hey, you're the same old Browns," what's different this year compared to previous seasons? So let's go. What's different with training camp? The feels around it first. We'll do a rotation, and then we'll go and ask what's different about this season. Compared to last season. We'll go Christian first. Go ahead, Christian.
So around training camp, I kind of like it. The media has not been crazy. Have you noticed that? It's not been just it's not like it was last year. Last year was just insane. It felt like everybody was just hounding on the Browns. It was all attention on Cleveland. Now it's really not. It's oh yeah, there's other teams in the AFC North besides the Bengals. Sometimes. And then we'll get a little attention. But I love that. We're going in underdogs. And I love that kind of feeling. I know they're getting paid millions of dollars, and we're tired of that same old mantra of being the underdogs. But I kind of like it for this year, man. Yeah. You just squeeze in under the radar and then just start thumping kids. That's
Do you think the lack of coverage comes from a little bit of uncertainty around this team because really, I mean, it all is on.
Okay, let's
Deshaun
be
is fit or
real.
not, right?
Let's be real. If this roster was out in LA, bro, this would be the most talked about roster in all of the NFL. You can't convince me otherwise. With the amount of talent on it and the acquisitions they've made,
in LA, or if they were this whole entire roster was playing for like the Rams or the Chargers.
if they were playing for the Rams, bro, that's all they would talk about. This would be the team that they would talk about because you've got a controversial quarterback, a star pass rusher, lockdown secondary, a really good wide receiver 1, an up-and-coming wide receiver 2, the best running back in all of football, and they just improved drastically on defense.
Yep.
I mean,
Well, I don't even think it's to your point, Christian. I don't really think that it's a hate thing. I mean, now,
no,
granted,
I think it's just a mid-market thing.
I don't even think that's that. It's just the sole fact. Let's be real here. You know, Cleveland has one of the biggest issues in the league in terms of like winning over the past several years. I mean, yeah, you know, the run in 2020 and that playoff win was absolutely electric. But outside of that, I mean, they had one other playoff appearance, and they ended up blowing a 3-touchdown lead to Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? Like the Browns don't have that history of where they've stacked, you know, success. It's either been, you know, success out of nowhere or just complete basement. So I don't think it's necessarily like a hate or like a market thing. It's just, you know, everybody's kind of waiting for the Browns to just prove it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's one of the main problems that we're seeing right now. And then I'll let you go, Jake, is because, you know, and Drew touched on it a little bit. But the big difference, in my opinion, is that there's no quarterback suspension. I mean, Deshaun's not suspended for any amount of games. He could play the full season, right? He could play a full 17 games. But I think it's just a matter of a two-parter. Some people don't want to talk about the Browns, right? Because it's not like their quarterback who's under center is some middle of the pack quarterback. Like we all know, all football minds know what Deshaun Watson can do. We all know that. And we all know you don't just lose that just because there's not an injury. There's not an injury or anything. It's just because you haven't played. So now you have a full off season. With the playbook, with Kevin Stefanski, with this offense, you know, you can't get him out of the building. You know, Deshaun wants to stay in the building all the time. You know, Kevin Stefanski has to beg him to leave. It's like there is just something so different about having Deshaun just for the full offseason. So with that being said, I think that teams and reporter and media, they just don't want to give us the type of hype up that they did. And they already also did it already in 2020, in 2019.
Do you smell that?
What's that?
I smell Super Bowl, Super Browns, baby. It's in the air. It's in the air. I'm sorry. I can't, you know, over this past like month and a half that we've been on sabbatical, hiding, clearing our heads, becoming better men of the Lord and the Browns. You know, I've had some life-changing events happen. You know, I quit the Zen pouches. They're out of here. They're gone. I've had one energy drink in the last 8 days. So my mind is clear. No more toxins in my body except chocolate. So all I've got to say is my mind's clear. The focus is better. And all I see is a Super Bowl in Cleveland.
Is that the expectation? Is that the expectation?
For me, but to the media, if we can just make the playoffs.
Jake, you're shaking your head no. What is your expectation?
My expectation is at bare minimum, make the playoffs. Bare minimum.
Right.
And then right above that, win the division. Now, if we tie or if we lose it by one game to like Cincy or something, that's not the end of the world.
Right.
Bare minimum, we have to make the playoffs. I know the AFC is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But we have to make the playoffs. I feel like a lot of people are going to get really upset if we do make the playoffs and we potentially lose the wild card or potentially lose in the divisional round, something like that. even if
Yeah.
we don't get blown out. I feel like
Yeah.
some Browns fans are going to freak that out if we don't make it all the way. And I'm not that person because, of course, you got to look at the fact that everything that we went through 0-16, 1-15. We
Right.
thought we were going to win the Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield. Didn't even have a winning season. And if we have, like, of course, a winning season, make the playoff, we are in the right track. And I don't feel like we're in too big of a hurry. Now, of course, we're eventually going to lose players here and there. But I don't think this is a make or break year where we have to win the Super Bowl. That's just me, though.
That's a very good point. That is a very, very strong point. And before I touch on that, Drew did say, how much money are you saving from not sending things all day?
So, I have saved enough money to pay off America's debt.
Oh my God.
So you're welcome, America. Taxes are
coming down.
Taxes are coming down. You actually don't have to pay them anymore. Commit tax fraud.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. The price of stock for Bang Energy has plummeted since Christian has stopped with his addiction. Now we don't know when he's going to fall off the wagon, but we're here in support with him and every 12 steps of his way.
All right,
I'm a changed man.
And I'm going to ask you the question, Mac, because Jake did get a really good point. I think everyone is just tired of the Cleveland Browns. They gave us our chance in the media already. We saw what happened, what you did in 2019, and then all of a sudden you magically won in 2020 when there was a COVID year and there was no fans in the stands, and you beat Pittsburgh. It's like, all right, congratulations. But then all of a sudden, Baker just falls off the wagon. So, Mac, what are some of the things that you would just think that are different about this year, and maybe just encourage somebody who is a little pessimistic?
It's all business this year. It's purely all business, and you could just see that through the offseason. Deshaun Watson has come out and spoke about how he feels more comfortable leading the team this year, and it shows because he has been with the team leading by example, being the first guy in, the last guy out. He's not afraid to talk to reporters anymore. Not saying that he was last year, but you could tell there were certain questions where, it would throw him off a little bit, and he wouldn't, he wasn't himself. And when you're not yourself, you can't be expected to just lead others flawlessly. But this season, it's different. It feels more professional in the sense of, great example, they had that fight last practice. Kevin Stefanski stopped the whole practice and made an example and made them run. When was the last time that you saw, NFL players running mandatory sprints? Like, that's not a thing. I mean, we can go back to the fight 2019, at training camp. Freddie Kitchens was, bless his heart, nice guy, but you can't be encouraging fights with your players, and year before Hard Knocks 2018, people were getting in people's faces and causing fights there. But it's just, between that, bringing in Jim Schwartz, and Jim Schwartz has his own personality, and he's an old school football coach that will get after you and will light a fire up under you. So, in terms of what feels different, it just feels like a more, and I hate to use the phrase, a more professional football team, but it just feels all business for me. And when teams are all business and they're locked in, they win. And what was one of the first things that Kevin Stefanski talked about is that he talked about buying in. And I love that premise, and I can't stress that enough, because when everybody is bought in, that means that they're working that much harder at practice. They're working that much harder in the film room. They're striving so much more for perfection. And, I had an old college coach where he would use the term, the bus is rolling. Either you get on or you get off. But no matter what you do, the bus is going to keep rolling. And when you have everyone on the bus, so to speak, you're going to be in a better position to win. And, it hasn't been talent. Now, were there some holes to fill? Of course. But the biggest problems with this team for over the past several years, it hasn't been like a talent issue. The Browns haven't been that much significantly worse than the rest of the league in terms of talent. It's just been a bringing it all together. And, you
Yeah.
know, I can't wait to see it this year because it truly is different. It feels that way to me.
And you know, I the analogy that jumps into my head is trying to do the water bottle flip challenge and trying to flip a water bottle and let it land on the cap. You can't have too much water. You can't have too little water. You need the just amount of right so that it actually, you know, you're able to actually do it successfully. And I think that last year and years prior, we were trying to do things where you add splash players here, you add big names at certain positions here and there. It's like, you know, there was no depth really. An injury goes down, or you know, a big name like Jadeveon Clowney has a down year where he basically steals money from your franchise, and now he's gone, so I don't have to worry about that. But then you bring in guys like Zadarius Smith and Dalvin Tomlinson, and now you're bringing in the leadership of AWalk back, and Taki looks like a great linebacker as well for us. You know, Greg Newsom doing his thing. Martin Emerson has a fantastic rookie season. We bring in, you kick out JJ3. No offense to John Johnson, but it's like, you know, I just feel like you were just talking, you know, crazy on Joe Woods, which respectfully so, but you're gone. We don't need that. We're bringing in the Super Bowl champion and Juan Thornhill. I think you're bringing in guys that balances out this football team. It's not flashy, sexy DeAndre Hopkins or your Daniil Hunter names, beautiful names, which we could possibly still get Daniil Hunter, who knows, but I'm not going to talk about that too much. But it's not sexy names, right? It's fill in the gaps where they're needed. And I just see like this roster is a deep roster. So that's what's different from last year. Obviously, you don't have the incompetency of Joe Woods as well. You have a fourth place schedule now. You got a full Deshaun Watson. What else more do you need to know that this year is different than previous years? This is the best roster, talent-wise.
Talent-wise.
Yeah, I want one more defensive tackle. And, you know, there was one in today for a visit up there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Shelby Harris.
Yeah.
Dog.
What do you think about it? What's the likelihood of us getting in a guy like Shelby Harris?
I think
And
it
what
depends
do you like about
on
him?
the numbers. If he's like Mac texted us earlier in the chat, it's like if he's under 7, do it. Like for sure. If you can get him like on a 2-year, like $12 million deal, sign me up.
Yeah.
Do it.
That's fair.
Absolutely.
But the thing is if you can get him for that, but where it's so like late in the off season, like I mean, we're 40 days away from start of a season, 4 days away from the first preseason game.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting close to the season, so I mean, people are starting to like, okay, yeah, I might need to just lower my price down a little bit so I can go play some football. You know.
Yeah. That's just why I don't expect them to get him like tomorrow. Like it will take time unless some team is just desperate and says, here, take all of our money. We desperately need you. And Cleveland's not going to do that. But I feel like the longer we wait, the lower the price tag's going to be on Shelby Harris. That's just me, though.
Yeah, I agree. And I think having him in that rotation is a huge upgrade over what we did have. Yeah, over somebody we will not name. Yeah.
Yeah.
But dude, you know, I don't know. Sorry to change the subject, but you know, it just hit me like how much we've actually missed over like the last few weeks. Like we haven't even talked about the white helmets yet.
Yeah, those are beautiful. What are your thoughts on the white helmets? What are your thoughts on that?
I think they look like stormtroopers, which is pretty sick.
Yeah,
you know, especially when you're going to an away game
and you got Darth Dog.
You got Darth Dog and the stormtroopers. You know, and I it's definitely a vibe when you're traveling and the away team is all white. You know, it's just it's a clean look, and it pays homage to the first helmet that the Browns ever wore. Because, you know, not a lot of people know this, but the first color helmet they wore were white. The reason why they changed is because it just wasn't showing well on TV at the time. So they changed to orange. So they're going back to white helmets for, and you know, it's a matching stripe. So I don't hate it at all. Now I will love it a lot more when they beat Pittsburgh week 2.
Yeah. Drew doesn't like it, but if we blow out Pittsburgh, I'm demanding we, you know, wear white helmets all the time. So
it'll be like the color rush jerseys with Baker versus the Jets.
Yes, you wear those. You wear those all the time. Jake, what are your thoughts?
Would have had those white jerseys for a home game at night and do kind of like a Penn State whiteout, like a night game, which we don't get a night game unless they flex us to a Saturday or a Sunday night. But if they do that, have a whiteout, chances are that could be a division title game or something like that going down the road. If which I don't think we play Baltimore at home late in the season. And Pitt, I don't feel like it's going to be competing for the division, but I'm just
Talk that talk. Talk that talk, Jake.
I feel like they're not, but that's just me.
Talk that talk. Say Kenny Pickett has small hands.
I'm not going to say that, but
Say he can't grip a football. Say it.
definitely not going to say that. But
Say his
I don't
mullet's
think it's
whack.
gonna be
He needs a new
competition.
barber.
Nope.
I'll
You go
say.
ahead.
First of all, me and Kenny Pickett have the same hair, so like
That's true. That's true.
No,
We
no,
won't say too
no,
much.
with the
no, bro.
mullet,
No, bro. No, his is
Easy
gapped
with
up.
the mullet talk. Okay.
Hey, no,
Or
I
else
ain't
you're
even
gonna get
this.
my child
Yours
involved.
is a beautiful flow. His is like a Joe Dirt, like sewn onto the top of his head.
Joe Dirt.
Good Lord.
So
He's 6'5" Joe Dirt. Convinced you differently.
So the switch gears for a second. So the Cleveland Browns do play football this week. The 2023 Pro Football Hall of Fame game. The Cleveland Browns will take on the New York Jets in the Hall of Fame game at 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. It is during the enshrinement week, which shout out to Johnson Controls, sponsored by Johnson Controls. So first and foremost, it's the 101st season for the National Football League. So shout out to them. I mean, hit the century mark there with some historic franchises. So what I want to know, right? I mean, is there expectations for this game? I want to know who's starting at quarterback potentially, who's getting a lot of snaps. Are we going to see my favorite college quarterback of all time, Dorian Thomas Robinson? Can't even say his name. DTR. What are we seeing? Is it going to be the Kellen Mond show? I want to know, some of the things that we're kind of looking forward to. What are your expectations in this game? Christian, we'll go first.
Joshua Dobbs will have the career game of his life. 5 touchdown passes in the first quarter. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
Stop it.
No, I expect Josh Dobbs to start. He'll do 2 or 3 drives, I'd say. And then you'll see Kellen Mond before you will DTR. Just to let him get the flow, because he's been on the team a little bit longer. Let him get that opportunity. And then DTR. I think DTR will light it up when he goes in, because it'll be like the Kroger baggers and all them out there playing defense. So I think he'll light it up. And then week 2, you'll see more DTR. But we are talking about the Jets game. I do expect one man to just clearly just run away with the job. And that is Jerome Ford. I think he has that game that you're like, yeah, that's a running back too. I know it's preseason, but he has to have a game like that to kind of solidify his job.
He better have a game like that, because I've been wanting another running back too for a while now.
Me
I don't
too.
think that Jerome Ford is that guy yet. I think it's one more season. The same thing I've said last year about Donovan Peoples-Jones being wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2. I don't think he's that guy yet. But go ahead, Jake. What are your expectations for this game? I know it's a Hall of Fame game, and some people consider it the preseason to the preseason. So you might see XFL players out there, but what are your expectations right now?
Like you said, it's a preseason game. It's the Hall of Fame game. It's going to be more for show. Are starters even playing this Thursday or no?
I don't think so. I don't think there's one starter that's playing Thursday.
Last name Jones, tackle for Ohio State. Is he going to be playing in that game or no?
DeJuan Jones. I don't think so, but I could see situations when he's in there for a drive or 2 at max.
I would like to see him in that game, see what he can do, see what he's capable of, compare his body size to the rest of the other professional players, because you've never seen him compared to NFL players. Other than that, I'm just going to sit back. I'm going to enjoy the game regardless of the score, because the last time we went 4-0 in preseason, guess what happened in the regular season?
0-16.
We had a parade, baby.
Yeah, we had a parade. All right.
We had a parade. We had a parade.
So
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to see. I think Drew. Drew's making a fantastic point. They said they better break in Kellen Mond on Thursday. I think Kellen Mond and DTR are going to share a lot of the snaps. I don't think they're going to go to Joshua Dobbs because I don't even think they want him taking a snap. I think they're very comfortable with Joshua Dobbs being quarterback too. I think they're going to roll out DTR and say, hey, that's an exciting piece for the preseason, for the Hall of Fame game. I think they're going to throw him out there. And if he has a phenomenal game, he could take over that QB2 spot easily. That's why they signed Joshua Dobbs to a 1-year deal, in my opinion, is because they probably have some high hopes on the guy who they were going to be able to draft, which is DTR. And I think that he's going to show that he's a valuable option at quarterback 2. He's going to be able to get some snaps. I think he's going to play a full half. The better he plays, the least amount of time he'll play. I think that's what's going to happen on Thursday. So you might see a lot of Kellen Mond if DTR is out there turning it up. Other than that, I mean, that's probably the most flashiest name you're probably going to see. I don't think you're going to see any Cedric Tillman. I don't think you might see some Jalen Darden. You might see some Jalen Darden out there.
I still see Tillman.
You think you'll see Tillman?
Yeah, you'll see the rooks.
I don't think. I mean,
You got to think though. You'll see him and David Bell. You'll see them too.
You'll see David Bell. I think you'll see David Bell. I don't know if you'll see. I don't know if they want to throw Cedric Tillman out there for a.
They'll throw him out there probably for a little bit. I mean, he's still got to kind of prove himself a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's having a great camp. I think you're gonna see surprisingly a name. Surprisingly, in my opinion, who they should throw out there a lot is Anthony Schwartz.
10.
They should throw Anthony Schwartz out there almost every preseason game, and he should play at least a quarter. Mac, you are muted, but no,
Max over screaming at the top of his lungs.
Yeah. What were you screaming? What were you saying?
Well, I'm just glad that you brought up two names, Jalen Darden and Anthony Schwartz, because my expectations for the game is one of those guys proves to us that they can be the deep ball threat this team is currently missing. Because what nobody's talking about right now, and it was a story for like 2 days, and then everybody just kind of brushed it off because I don't think they realize how big of a issue that it kind of is. Marquise Goodwin's out, and he's out kind of indefinitely until this blood clot. Now, granted, this isn't like a pulled hammy. This is a blood clot in your legs and your lungs. So it's just something that hopefully now it's something extremely serious. I mean, great example would be Chris Bosh. He had blood clots so bad that he had to retire like immediately once it happened. So prayers up for Marquise Goodwin. But in the meantime, they have to have a deep threat. And, can Elijah Moore be that guy? Yes. But, we're going to also put Elijah Moore in a lot of different other looks. We need a guy, whether that's Jalen Darden or Anthony Schwartz. Both of them have the speed to be the deep threat guy. Now, Darden reportedly, has had a little issues grasping the playbook last year, which is why he didn't get as many looks as he probably should have. And then Anthony Schwartz, he's just got bad hand-eye coordination. I mean, at this point, it's he had that. There was this one video where I'm looking at it, and he caught the ball, but it was the most awkward basket catch I've probably ever seen. And not saying that he can't turn it around, because there's an opportunity for both these guys, and with Marquise Goodwin out, there's that hole left, right? So who's going to take advantage of that? And that's what I'm looking for. I really do think that Jalen Darden, just because he's a natural wide receiver, he had some success with Tom Brady and the Bucs a little bit, but it was there. So my expectation is one of those two guys just kind of comes out and proves that they can step up in that Marquise Goodwin role.
Shout out to Taylor. Go Browns. Bengals are trash.
Are we running Fort to not Taylor?
Yeah. If we're running Fortnite tonight, Taylor, text us, hit us up. So quick question for you guys. So I think. Is it going to be, last question for the offensive side of the ball of potential starters, is it going to be Ethan Posick, or is it going to be
Why are you on this? Bro? It's Ethan Posick's job.
No, I know it's Ethan Posick's going to be starting, but I'm more so mean, is it going to be for the Jets game, is it going to be
I think it's going to be Wappler, bro.
Luke Weipler. Yeah. Is he from Kentucky?
No, he's from Ohio State.
He's from Ohio
Yeah.
State. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I gotta forget about that.
No, I think he starts. I think Nick Harris is auditioning for other starting positions, like or not starting, but like depth pieces. I think he's going to be playing some guard,
Okay.
a bit of guard.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was
Small for
unfortunate.
tackle,
Yeah.
But
Taylor just says he's looking for some divisional intel right now. I mean, I don't know how much we're going to
here's
give
your
you.
divisional intel, buddy. You're going to be looking from the bottom of the division. No, I'm kidding.
Bro, he needs to look into the quality of the practice field over there down in Cincinnati.
Yeah, that bubble's not really working out very much.
I mean, it's pretty lame when you see a non-contact injury like that on grass where your foot literally gets
That's-
stuck in the field because it's so piss poor.
Everybody thought I was in Cincinnati a couple weekends ago.
Yeah,
Go to
Drew.
a
Yeah,
Reds
Nick is in a guard. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, he's not a guard, but he did play guard.
He
Though.
has played guard.
He did.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
I don't
in
know if you're saying
2020
he's
against
not
the
a
Giants,
good guard. I don't know if he's not. Yeah.
Well, I
But-
mean, he's going to have an opportunity, this camp to show, whether or not he can swing in and play that guard. Because let's be honest, unless Poshik gets hurt again, the only opportunity that he'll have is to play guard or play kind of like that swing man in
Yeah.
there. And he has to prove to himself that he's valuable because, let's be honest, Ethan Poshik locked in that starting position.
It's a lock. It's a
going
lock.
anywhere.
Yeah, no, it's not even a
So-
question is who's starting there anymore. And shifting gears to the defensive side of the ball, I mean, a player that I'm really excited for, Siaki Ika. I hope he gets some. I mean, he's a big boy. I hope he gets some playing time on the defensive end. I don't know. I think Tommy Togiai is going to be out there a lot because they're trying to figure out. I mean, him and Anthony Schwartz, they're trying to figure out exactly what they got in those kind of guys. So they're going to throw them out there. You're going to see a lot of them. Tony Fields might get some action as well. I mean, he had a great game versus Houston, returning one for a touchdown. I mean, put himself on the map, a name that really rings. That's what we all think about when we think about Tony Fields. So we're going to see some action there. Who's some guys on the defensive side of the ball that you're excited for?
Kunasik.
Kanasic.
Yep.
Dog.
I mean, that's Jim Schwartz's favorite player.
Yeah. He's never
Everybody-
wore a jersey.
Yeah, and he's out there, and that's really great to see,
Thanks, MJ.
especially with Walker still recovering from that quad injury, which from what I've heard, he's still kind of working his way back, and there's an exact timetable of when he's going to be ready.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
Kunasik can step in
Yeah.
and be that guy and lead this defense at the mic and really kind of get everyone in line, that would be absolutely great for this football team. A guy that I would say that I'm looking for is on the defensive side of the ball is who's going to be the young guy on the defensive line that's going to create that pressure. Because Myles Garrett, great. Okoronkwo, great.
Yeah.
Dalvin Tomlinson, great.
Yeah.
Za'Darius Smith, great. But there's still going to be times where those guys aren't going to be on the field and they're getting a breather and they have another guy rotating in for them.
And you need
And as much as I'd love for those four guys to play every single down, it's just not realistic. So,
Right.
can Alex Wright prove that he added some finesse moves in terms of pass rushing to the bag? Can Isaiah Thomas prove that he's better with run fits this year?
Yeah.
Can Jordan Elliott prove that the restructure is great? And, and that was a good idea from the Browns and that he can stick around. I mean, Maurice Hurst, he's got a camp flyer right now. That's all that he has. Can he stay on this team? So, I'm definitely looking for who can step up, because especially in these Hall of Fame games, as much as it's exciting to finally see football again, it's going to be mostly third and fourth stringers. Mostly rookies.
We're not going to know very
Yeah.
much. We're not going to know very much. I think this is really just a battle for both teams to make the team. I mean, you're definitely not going to see Aaron Rodgers or Zach Wilson for the New York Jets side. You're just going to so it's kind of one of those things where you're looking to see who really has that dog in them too. No pun intended, but to win that starting spot or win a spot on the team. Drew has a great question. Does Ogbo 007 play at all?
I can imagine that they're going to play their second string offensive and defensive line. So it's it's I don't know for sure because again it is Monday. There's going to be a lot that's gonna change. I'm looking at the official depth chart, and all it has is just the normal list of names that we thought we would see. Who actually plays is going to be a completely different story. But I can imagine that they're going to be playing. That they're going to come out the first series with their second string O line. Just because they want to keep the quarterback clean. So I don't think they go quite to like an all rookie offensive line.
Yeah.
So they'll probably trot out the second teamers there.
Yeah.
And, we all know the defensive line, isn't very deep. I don't think they quite have a third and fourth team. So, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw Okoronkwo out there, but I also would not be surprised to see him sitting down because technically he is going to be on the field for major third down situations. So he's practically, a starter at this point. So it just all depends on what they want to do with him.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Drew, yes, I forgot. Sorry. 14 hours ago, the Jets did release that they're actually talking about starting Zach Wilson and getting not starting, but giving him some playing time on Thursday. So we will see Zach Wilson, which is good. Get him an extra bit of reps. I forgot about that. That the news happened so fast. But also Mekhi Becton, the offensive tackle, who hasn't played since week 1 of 2021, is also playing for the Jets. So we're going to see Mekhi Becton for a couple of snaps. I don't know how long they're going to have Zach Wilson out there. But I mean, just being able to get into an offense that kind of mimics Aaron Rodgers and his skill set, I think it's going to be a good idea for him to be able to get some snaps and just to get some good looks with some of the new wide receivers that they have. So we will see Zach Wilson out there. But then again, Zach Wilson versus DTR, I would love it. I hope we unleash DTR. We might not see Zach Wilson for very long. I don't suspect. But again, like Jake was saying, I don't really care about the score. I wouldn't like to lose by 50. But I would, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I want to make it competitive. I think these coaching staffs are sick and tired of playing versus each other in practice and kind of want to, release some plays, release some schemes, show some different looks, and get some game speed going. So I think we'll have a pretty good game on Thursday. So what are your guys' final looks here? Just going into Christian, did you give your expectations for the Jets game? And did Jake?
I don't know.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Did you? Yeah. So what's your final overall takes? What's your hot take for this game? Who kind of thinks you gets a big standout game? On Thursday?
Yeah. I said Jerome Ford.
Jerome Ford. Yep. Jake, who's your guy?
I'll just stick with DeJuan Jones. I really don't have any expectations, but he's one I want to see come out and see, hey, is Jed Wills going to still be on the team and DeJuan Jones possibly take the job or something like that? Other than that.
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't even care like how good Jed Wills does this year, man. Like, have you seen them O-line contracts?
Yeah, he's not deserving of any of those, man.
They get
So I'm hoping DeJuan Jones is Himothy. I hope, because I do not want to pay Jed what Jed is going to want for us. No. And I think he's going to be in a situation a little bit like Daniel Jones if he has a decent season where it's just like, oh shoot, now you have to pay me. What's so weird? You know what I mean? The money falls into your lap. So it's like
it's like a little Drake thing, like
yeah, legit. Like you're just like, where did this money come from? Also, Drew's talking about some Cade York. I forgot to give a shout out to Cade York. He better not mess up. I think Cade York's going to have a good season. I really do. I really do think he's going to have a good season.
I hope so, considering the fact there's no kicking competition and they don't plan on one.
No, they don't plan on. When you draft a kicker, I think that's it. That's it. If he has a poor season,
the mercy of the kicker. Yeah.
Yeah, because they drafted him, I don't think if he has if he has a horrendous, like if he's over 5 on kicks before half the season, they might let him go. But if he has a lackluster season, they'll just have him the whole season. There won't be any kicking competition, in my opinion. But I think he's going to have a good year. I think he's going to have a bounce back year. He started off last year extremely hot, right? I mean, we all remember that kick. We just loved him. We're getting t-shirts made and everything. So Mac, and to wrap it up, Mac, who's your guy on Thursday that's going to make some noise?
I really do think it's going to be Jalen Darden.
Yeah.
He had a very big catch a couple days ago in camp, and they're looking for that deep threat. They've been looking for that deep threat for years, and they really haven't had a solid, consistent one since Brashard Perriman. So in 2020 they tried with Odell, he got injured, and in 2021 they tried with Schwartz, and didn't happen. And in 2022 they didn't have that guy, and all they did was face loaded boxes. The name of the game this year is to get spacing on offense, because, and I've said this before, when you open up that spacing and Nick Chubb only has to face 8 defenders in the box, look out.
Yeah,
Look
100%.
out.
100%.
Yeah. And you know what else you need to look out for? There's some brand new, hot on the market, Dine with the Brands merch. It's available on Bonfire. We will be dropping the links. You can already click the link on the Down with the Browns Twitter. You'll see a hoodie in there that we have took off the market, but you can still get there through that link. It still works.
That's awesome.
But yeah, we'll be dropping new merch with the new logo.
It's gonna be
hopefully-
so clean. Gonna be so clean. I'm actually
Yeah.
gonna get one right
So
now.
fresh.
Yeah, Christian and I are in the middle of working it. And by working at it, we've just tried to not scream at each other all
Oh
day.
my god, it's been awful.
It's been bad. We've both been flustered, and
We've been throwing stuff.
dude, it was just nothing. But I mean, you guys at home would be surprised the way that we were talking to each other today, just simply over
And
a
now
damn
we're just
t-shirt.
we're just cutting it up now. But
Yeah, 100%.
yeah.
So great show, guys. Great show. Down with the Browns, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Follow us, please, at Down with the Browns. We just type into Google, wherever you get your podcasts, listen to us.
Rate us 5 stars.
Drew, Matty G is coming back eventually. He's taking also a little extra sabbatical. He'll pop back in and out. And then, yeah.
I mean, if he's going to pop back in, can we just tell him to just stop talking about Nick Chubb's contract? For the love of God. Like, please.
We are going to have a
The other night, it was like 12 o'clock. It was a weekday, and he just starts texting about how it would be smart to move on from Nick Chubb. Like,
Already.
this is the stuff that keeps him up at night in the middle of July.
It's just like,
Well,
bro.
and it's just like, I'm already frustrated at work. I've had 3 coffees in me, so I'm fired up.
And all of a sudden,
You know,
you're
my
getting
wrist-
dings, and Matty
Yeah.
G's like, you know what? I think we should move on from Nick Chubb. What? We got to.
It's enough to have a brain aneurysm. It's enough to have a brain aneurysm, dude. It's so frustrating. And like, I am the one that gets
intervention
intervention.
is what we need. We need to have an intervention. So, all right, guys, fantastic show. All the listeners, you can play this back.
Yeah, go subscribe, rate us 5 stars. Tell us how you really feel.
We're
Thick
back, season 2, baby.
skin. And I think that's a lovely way to end season 2, episode 1. And go Browns.
Go Browns, baby. We're back.
Yes, sir.
Birds up!